It is almost certain now that Ruben Amorim is not impressed with a quite good number of his players currently at Manchester United, and without a shadow of doubt, at the first available opportunity, he will be looking to bolster his squad if he is indeed going to get Manchester United executing football the way he believes in it. But which players and in which departments do we think and feel this man is going to be quick to buy new players in? Welcome to the United of Sport. My name is Webb, and like I promised in this video, I'm talking about players that I think might be looked at first by Ruben Amorim to add to this Manchester United squad. Mostly players he has worked with before at his most recent club, that is Sporting Lisbon. Now, tonight, Sporting Lisbon is taking on Arsenal. You've got a chance to see some of the players I'm about to talk to. And today, I'm just going to talk about probably two of them that I believe can be timely for Man United to sign in the next available transfer window, or probably in the summer, because January he promised he won't touch any Sporting Lisbon players, but he did not promise not to any time from that. But listen, we know that the biggest problem United has got exposed clearly is in the midfield. I spoke about this at length in my video last night. Now, the players I believe Amorim should be considering first, and I know many of you are excited by this striker Gyökeres, who is banging in 59 goals in 55 games. I'm not yet completely convinced that Rasmus Højlund is not good enough. The first area that Amorim will be looking to buy a player will be, of course, the central defense. Which central defender that will be, there was a plan already by Ineos, looking at players like Milos Kakies from Bournemouth as an option. And now there are talks of Alphonso Davies. So that could be still the plan they are trying to stick on, or even the Everton player Jared Branthwaite, if the money is available, or if they come to terms and to an agreement with Everton. So that the plan is in place. That's why already he's trying to bring in Godwin Kokunki and try to introduce him to the senior team, because he clearly sees there is a void in the back line, but especially on the left hand side. But in the midfield, for me, is where the debates should be more, and I'm surprised people don't really give that the attention it deserves. We talk about clearly how Casemiro and Eriksen should be the first players to leave, but who is replacing them? For me, even if Kobe is there, my first belief is that that man, Morten Schulman, is one that Ruben Amorim would want to pick out of Sporting Lisbon first before even thinking about Gyökeres. Because Schulman, first of all, is 25, the Danish international. He's 25, prime age. He's physical. He knows how to play the midfield the way Amorim wants to play it. Ever since they got him from Lecce, he has been a mainstay in the middle for Amorim's Sporting Lisbon. He's a hard worker. He's a leader. He has captained this team before. He's a leader as well. He has got that personality and character that you think if you add him and partner him with Ugarte, Manuel Ugarte, he would give you something natural for Ruben Amorim to work with. So for me, he's the first player I would look at as an option because of his understanding of the midfield role. Because remember, I've told you time and again that one of the key departments, the core departments to have right in the Ruben Amorim system is the midfield. You remember when Conte won the Premier League with Chelsea, in the middle he had, I think, N'Golo Kante and Nemanja Matic. You do recall? I think he had Kante and Matic. You need to have those solid midfielders in the middle. If you're going to execute that system, you need to have those two guys blocking in the middle. Now, United needs them. I don't think even in Kobe Maino you have that. That's why if you have Ugarte, you need to add on another solid guy who knows how to play and who knows the role, the duty to execute in that role. Morten Schulman, for me, is that player. He was totally bought for about 20 million euros from Lecce. His buyout clause now is believed to be about 80 million euros, which I think can go down, honestly. But you've got a chance to watch him tonight as Sporting Lisbon takes on Arsenal in Lisbon in the UEFA Champions League. So watch him and see how he fits into this. Now, the other player that is being spoken about by many is the young 17-year-old boy, the Portuguese kid who was put into the senior team by Ruben Amorim. That is Giovanni Quenda. Giovanni Quenda is only 17. He's a right winger or wing back, And I mean, he's such a special player. He's a beauty to watch. He's a joy to watch. And of course, we can be here and be happy about Ahmad and how he executed the duties on the right and how he got the praises of Ruben Amorim because he did his job right and played his part well. But the reality is Kwenda is more of a natural, and the fact that he's only 17, he has learned the Ruben Amorim way, if you understand what I mean, because he's the only coach he has worked with in senior football. He's learned his way. So for such a player, for such a kid, with Man United looking to develop more and more young kids, such a kid would make sense to join this fold now because he's still young. He's the same coach. He's the only coach, So the only way that Kwenda knows how to play football is the Ruben Amorim way. And imagine already he has started being introduced to the senior team of Portugal, to the national team of Portugal. So for me, I think for that reason he would make sense because he's still a developing player. And remember, Man United is also developing a lot of kids. So you can imagine if you brought in a kid like Kwenda, and he's a bit cheap because right now Man United can get Kwenda for probably no more than 20 million euros. He's that cheap, at least from what we get from his valuation. So because of how cheap he is, I think it would make sense to add to Man United, and maybe him and Ahmad go into but or push Ahmad to play behind the striker. So he pushes Ahmad to play behind or play Ahmad on the left as a natural playing coming through from the left, not inverted. But either way, I think Kwenda is a player who can make sense for Man United just because Ruben Amorim is the only coach he has worked under in senior football and he understands he's growing and learning with Amorim. So it would be for me only a match made in heaven if he teamed up with him at Manchester United, more so with United looking to develop several young players in the team. Because we look at that and think Ahmad was from the first game. Ahmad must have played well in that role, but uh, these these defensive duties are not entirely Ahmad's cup of cake. Yes, he did because he wants to play. He was disciplined, keeping his position, keeping his marker, running up top and back, just following the man-to-man marking. But you saw the I think it was the not the goal. I think there was a blocked chance from Onana, but Ahmad was beaten because he dropped in concentration. He was beaten because he lost his mark. He was there, but he dropped in concentration and he was casually beaten. And it's Onana who saved the day. So you don't think Ahmad and the defensive those deep defensive duties rather are his cup of cake. You think if there is an option to play in that role for a natural kid who is a right winger and wing back in Kwenda, Ahmad can be released to give you more going forward. So for me, the other player I think we can look at first to pick out from Sporting is Kwenda. So those two for me first. Then later, if Hoyland fails to perform, we can think of Gyökeres. But even then, with Hoyland 21, I don't think it's the right time for Man United to go into a bidding war with Arsenal and Chelsea for Victor Gyökeres, honestly. I don't think that's a bidding war. That is for United now. I think we can still try and give Gyökeres time, rather Hoyland time to perform because I believe he will certainly come of age at some point. So that's what I think. And of course, I'll talk about more departments, especially the centre back, which players I believe we can bring in. But those first two, I need you to watch those two players as Sporting Lisbon takes on Arsenal tonight. Watch Kwenda and Jolmand. No, people talk about Kwenda, but they don't talk about Jolmand enough. I think we need to look at him and see what he does in the middle for Sporting Lisbon for you to get an understanding of how he will boost the midfield and solve the problems, the clear problems we have. Because again, I think for a long time we've seen in the past years, and for a long time, Man United signed players who are not entirely solving a particular problem for the team. With all the problems United has, we are seeing players signed, but they're not solving anything. I think we need to sign players that are solving a problem. Yes, Gyökeres would be solving a goal scoring problem, but that would be a rushed signing because there was someone who was signed to solve that problem and he hasn't been given enough time. In fact, two players. But the other problem we have in the middle that's glaring. What is the solution? The solution for me is Jolmand and Ugarte. Push Kobe to play behind the number 9. So for me, that's my honest take. Give me your opinion in the comment section. My name is Web. Like, share, and subscribe. We are powered by Uplift Causes. I'm telling you guys, do support mental health education in young kids in Uganda, in schools, in communities, because guys, the mental health issue is serious. It is real, and indeed, we've got to do something about it. It can't even be out of Uganda. I mean, wherever you are, we can get everywhere to try and help young people with their mental health. My name is Web. Like, share, and subscribe, and let me catch you later, fam.